afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us here tonight. It looks like we have a little over 75 people in the room, so we appreciate you all being here. My name is Kim Schaff. I am the Executive Director of the Foundation at Inver Community College, and just want to welcome you all to our virtual scholarship celebration and donor recognition event. Just a couple housekeeping things before we get started. Closed captioning has been enabled in this video or this event, so you should see CC down at the bottom of your screen. You should click on that, or in the three dots area, you can click on that. It should say subtitles or something. So if you need that, feel free to click that and that will help you out there. As far as your viewing pleasure, if you will, we have, as you might notice, that we have a panelist. We're going to have several people speak tonight. So if you want to select selector view instead of gallery, then you can just see the person who's speaking, and it will be a little less distracting. I just want to mention for our donors that may be in the room tonight, we do have the thank you notes from the students that we'll be sending out within the next week. So watch for those. And I also want to encourage everyone to use the chat feature tonight. Usually we're in a room together, sharing stories, having great conversations, networking, learning about one another. So please use the chat throughout the event tonight. Congratulate the students. Students, tell us what you're doing, what these scholarships meant to you. Use this time to thank the donors. Just use that chat feature how you see fit to keep it positive and motivating, and keep us all going here tonight. If you were here last year, you know that this is one of my favorite events when we can all be in person. It's just a great time to come together as a community and hear the student stories and hear what they're working on, what they're going through, their successes and their challenges, as well as the donors get a chance to meet those students and hear their stories, and also share about what they're doing and how they got to where they are, and do some networking and maybe even have jobs for our students. So while I'm disappointed we can't be in a room together, I'm excited that we have the technology to still celebrate our students and thank our donors as well. I just want to give you a sense of people who are in the room, if you will, the virtual room tonight. We have, of course, have our scholarship recipients that are our students. We have staff and faculty joining us from Inver Hills Community College. We have the people who make these scholarships possible, our donors, our board members that give their time and talent to the foundation, as well as community partners that are here with us tonight. So again, use the chat to converse with one another. Later, you'll be hearing from two students. We did some interviews with some students, and they will share their stories and talk about what the scholarships have meant for them and how it's impacted them and what their future goals are. But I just want to take a minute so I can add some additional student voices so you get a greater sense of how these scholarships really are impacting our students. So these are excerpts from thank you letters that we have received from our students. So this is their words. So our first student writes, I come from a very poor family. My mother was a single mother of 5 and was frequently unable to finance our basic needs of food, healthcare, and shelter. With that said, education was a luxury that our family could not afford. However, my strength and commitment to reach my goals are bigger than our financial difficulties. Your generosity will allow me to concentrate more on these goals. Additionally, this award will not only help me reach my goals, but will also help me provide for my children and one day help other students that, like me, are struggling to financially meet their basic and educational needs. I hope to be able to pay this amazing gift forward in the future. Another student writes, this scholarship comes at the most opportune time as I anticipate this next semester to be a very trying and strenuous semester. As an urgent care licensed practical nurse, I have struggled with work, life, and school balance throughout the pandemic, and this scholarship will allow me to focus on my studies in a way that I did not see feasible before now. And lastly, a student writes, I'm incredibly grateful for the generous donation of this scholarship. I am a newly single mom of 3 school-aged children. I am only able to take a class or 2 at a time, partly because of finances. Having this scholarship allows me to continue my education, showing my children it's never too late to reach your goals or dreams. When I received notice of getting this scholarship, there was an incredible weight lifted off my shoulders. I know that Inver is considered an affordable college, and to many, $500 may not be an incredible investment, but for me it is. All I can say is thank you, and I will do all that I can to make sure it goes to good use. So these just are a couple of our students. My staff get to read through these thank yous. We hear it all the time, the impact that people and organizations that donate to our foundation are just really helping our students. So what I want to say to you, our donors, is thank you. You are the reason why we're here. You're the reason why we get to do this. You're the reason why we get to celebrate tonight. And our students are so thankful for all that you do for them. Hopefully you heard from these words that your generosity not only pays for tuition. A lot of times we think it's just paying for tuition, but it has such a larger impact. It's motivating to students. It's a boost of confidence. It's encouragement to keep going that maybe our students have never had before. So it's more than just the money. It also tends to have a ripple effect. So not only are students more likely to persist and graduate, they're more likely to get a livable wage, to impact their family. As you heard in the words before, it's influencing future generations. And also students want to pay it forward. And we hear it from our donors as well, that that's the reason why they're supporting students, is because someone once helped them. So thank you for your continued support. Thank you for the work you do to support our students. We enjoy working with you. We appreciate your passion and your dedication to helping students achieve their dreams, and we just can't thank you enough. And what I'd like to say to the students, we are all so very proud of you. We know that it's hard and it can be challenging, but keep going. You have a whole group of people cheering you on in this room. I'm looking at the numbers, 107 people. Well, some of you are students, but your peers are cheering you on too. So I hope you feel the energy in this virtual room and can just keep going and reach your dreams, because it is possible. We look forward to hearing all the wonderful things that you do in the future. So keep in touch with us through the Alumni Association when you graduate, and let us know how you're doing and where you ended up landing and where life has taken you. And before we get into the rest of the program, I just want to take this opportunity to also give you a personal invite to all of you to our annual gala, where we have the opportunity to celebrate our successes over the last year while also raising critical scholarship funds for our students. The gala is held in the spring. It's going to be Thursday, April 28th at Brackett's Crossing in Lakeville. So watch your email for more information, or you can visit our website, oneboldfuture.com, for more details. So I'm going to be like an infomercial and repeat that, oneboldfuture.com, and you can check on there for details. We also currently have nominations for our awards up, so you can nominate an Alumni of the Year, Employee of the Year, or a Community Partner of the Year. So go check that out. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce the president of Inver Hills Community College, Mr. Michael Barron.
Great, thank you, Kim. I've been looking at the chat, and it's been fantastic to see the shared sentiments. So thank you to all of you who've been writing, and I want to recognize Representative Craig. Thank you for being here, being part of this event. It is absolutely phenomenal to come together. I want to welcome you. My name is Michael Barron. I'm the president here at Inver Hills Community College and at Dakota County Technical College. This afternoon's event is our opportunity, right, to recognize these students and for their accomplishments in securing these scholarships, and to recognize those who support our students through their generous donations. It's also our opportunity to recognize our faculty and staff. It's great for us to be able to celebrate with you. You know, we work hard to support students, and we need these times to celebrate with you and to take nourishment from your accomplishments. So thank you. With our donor support and the support of the Workforce Development Scholarships funded by the Minnesota Legislature, we were able to provide $243,250 in scholarships. And that goes to 333 students in the current academic year. So that's a pretty extensive impact we can have to support students, and thank you to those of you who contributed to that. Truly, these scholarships are investments, right? Knowing that most of the graduates continue to live and work in our region. We recently completed an economic impact study that showed that Inver Hills and DCTC generate an economic impact of $334 million each year from supporting and sustaining 2,881 jobs to generating almost 20 million in state and local revenue. So it is now my pleasure to introduce two of these outstanding students. Kelly Balin is pursuing a degree in engineering, and Christina Fruchtal has just earned her degree in nursing. And they were each interviewed by Elizabeth Howe, our development director for Inver Hills Foundation. And we'll share a video of these interviews with you now. So thank you.
Well, hi, I'm Elizabeth Howe, Development Director at Inver Hills Community College Foundation, and you are Kelly Balin.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I have always had a love of engineering, and it stems from an incident when I was 5 years old. I watched the Challenger launch live on TV. I didn't understand what it meant, like ultimately, but the very beginning of it gave me a sense of awe and wonder, and I wanted to chase that my entire life. And so I've actually been busy doing things having to do with that my entire life, and it's been kind of a core of who I am. I am in my 40s, so I'm an older student coming back to school. I'm switching from kind of more physical labor jobs into more of an intellectual side of things. So I'm pursuing that engineering degree. I'm kind of dovetailing everything together, and that's who I am right now.
Great. How did you choose Inver Hills?
I chose Inver Hills for actually 3 different reasons. One, it's locally close to me. 2, I looked at the teachers that were going to be in my program, and I kind of did a little bit of research, and I found that they are absolutely amazing teachers. 3, the program itself will butt up against the 4-year degree at the University of Minnesota. So I can actually take my associate's degree here and transfer that directly into a bachelor's degree there, 1-for-1 with the credits. And that's just an amazingly powerful thing to do. And so I can stay local here. I can get my work done with teachers that are amazing, and I can do it for a lot cheaper and in a lot smaller classes. And I've also learned recently that a lot of the students that come through here and go into those programs are better prepared for the program when they hit their 3rd year.
Yeah, that's great. I know that you're doing really well. You have a 4.0. What advice would you give to other students to be successful?
I think there are 2 main things that work for me. One is to have a drive beyond just the degree. It's important to be able to fall back on something personal, and for me, I want to work for NASA. So every time I have like a hard assignment, or I have something that's just going to keep me up half the night, it's easier for me to say, oh, well, you need to do this if you want to do that. It's harder for me just to shrug it off as just like, oh, it's just a little thing, you know. It may impact my degree a little bit, but for me, it ends up being this huge thing where I have this goal at the end, and so it makes me perform better. The other part of that is to, in every single class that you're in, try to have a study partner, because then you hold each other accountable. And you can also have somebody that you can lean on when you just don't understand material. You can, text them or hit them up on Teams or Zoom or whatever. And that gives you the opportunity to get the answers you need immediately without getting frustrated about the material. It also gives you a chance to be the teacher when they need help. And that cements the ideas in your head better.
Yeah, both are great advice. You received several scholarships.
Yes.
What scholarships did you receive?
The Thomson Reuters Scholarship, the Doug Differt STEM Scholarship, and the Workforce Development Scholarship over the last 2 semesters.
How have those helped you? What impact have they made?
They've made a huge impact. If I were to try to go to school while working, I wouldn't be able to do nearly half the things that I'm doing right now. I'm involved in a lot of different programs, a number of leadership roles, and I wouldn't be able to do those things Would I still graduate with a good GPA and with a degree? Yes, but would I be as attractive to the different companies that I'm looking at? No. And so this will help me actually reach my dream. It will help me to be the person that I ultimately want to be and I want to present to the world as far as education goes.
Great. What would you like to say to the donors of the scholarships?
It's invaluable. It's absolutely invaluable. I'm a good student, and I would not have been able to say that previously. I was not in a place where I was able to dedicate myself to schooling. I always had to work a full-time job previously, and now I have the ability just to focus on my education, and that's really what I needed. I needed the ability just to put 100% into it, to grind it out. And the only reason that I'm successful now is because of the scholarships. And without those, I wouldn't be in the programs that I'm in. I wouldn't be able to perform at the level that I'm able to perform at. And I wouldn't be on track to hopefully be working at NASA in 2025.
Yeah, that's great. So speaking of NASA, when do you expect to graduate and what are your future plans?
I'm hoping that I'm graduating in June 2025. So I still, I have to do the full 4-year thing.
When will you graduate from Inver Hills?
I'm going to graduate from Inver Hills in, I think, I've got 3 more regular semesters to go, and I've got 1 more summer semester.
Okay.
So 4 total semesters to go, and then I will hopefully transfer over to U of M.
Got it. And then what career plans do you have? Career dreams and plans?
NASA.
Yep.
It's 100% NASA. Specifically JPL, Jet Propulsion's laboratory on the West Coast. They are the ones responsible for all of the rovers and many other things beyond that. So that would be my ideal goal. Frankly, anywhere at NASA would be wonderful. I am currently in 3 separate NASA programs, and those are incredibly enlightening for me. And the things you don't know about NASA that you learn about are they're absolutely amazing. The number of technologies that come down to regular people is mind-boggling.
That's amazing. I've really enjoyed learning about your story and how the scholarships helped you, and thank you so much for talking to us today.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Elsbeth Howe. I am the Development Director at the Inver Hills Community College Foundation. And today I have Christina Frechtel, who is a scholarship recipient. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
Hi. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
So, again, my name is Christina Frechtel, and I was a nursing student at Inver Hills Community College. I just graduated last week, so that's very exciting. And nursing is actually my second career. I started out as a chiropractor. I practiced for 16 years, and then I decided I wanted a change. So I had searched around. I knew I wanted to stay in healthcare, but I searched around, applied to different programs. I was accepted to several, but I chose Inver Hills because it just seemed like a really good fit for me.
That's great. how did you decide to become a nurse? What brought you to that direction?
Again, I wanted to stay in healthcare. My mother was a nurse, and so that always kind of was close to me. And I loved the fact that there were so many opportunities. It's something that, it's a field that just has a broad scope of jobs and career opportunities, so I think it was just really that.
That's great, and congratulations on your graduation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a big accomplishment. So,
Absolutely,
yeah.
and another big accomplishment is that you had a 4.0.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to students to be successful?
Well, one of the things in our orientation before classes started that was recommended to us is that we stay a week ahead of time, kind of stay a week, 1 to 2 weeks ahead with our schedule. And I really liked that philosophy. I didn't know if it was actually going to happen, but it did for me, because I had this planner, paper planner, and I just wrote everything out from the beginning of the semester, kind of like due dates, when projects were due, when papers were due, when I had exams, things like that. And just staying organized, I think, is really key, because there's so many projects. So, yeah.
Definitely. Moving to scholarships. What scholarships did you receive while you were a student here?
So I received the Dakota Electric Scholarship in the fall of 2020, and then in the fall of 2021, I received the Workforce Development Scholarship.
How have those helped you?
They've helped me immensely. I had a small part-time job through my first 2 semesters here at Inver Hills through the nursing program, and then my final semester, I decided not to work. That was partially related to the scholarship. It allowed me to focus more on my studies, and then in the final semester, definitely helped me focus more on not just my studies, but NCLEX studying and preparing to find a job and things like that.
And the NCLEX is the test you have to take to become a nurse.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll be taking that next week.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. What would you like to say to your scholarship donors?
I just want to say thank you. I think it's a wonderful opportunity that you offer the scholarships, and I think it's a great confidence builder for those recipients, and even just the process of applying. I know that I had to write an essay, at least for one of them, and I just think it's a great benefit for students to be able to focus on their studies and to take a little bit of that burden off their shoulders.
Yeah, so congratulations again on graduating, and you're going to take the NCLEX next week.
Yes.
What are your career plans?
So actually, just earlier this week, I officially accepted a job at United Hospital in cardiac medicine. So I'm very excited. And I'll be starting at the end of January.
And what hospital are you going to be working at?
United Hospital here in St. Paul with Alina. Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Got the mute button. How cool is that? My name is Jake Sedlacek. I'm the current chair of the foundation board here at Inver Hills Community College. I work for a little company called Excel Energy. We have a little bit to do with electricity and gas in the area. So my company supports Inver Hills Community College students because we need everyone. You know, it's a very exciting time in our industry. And we need everyone from lawyers to engineers to folks that like turning the switches to people that are organized and can take care of all the details that need to happen to keep the lights on. So myself, I support Inver Hills Community College because, you know, frankly, I've heard too many awesome stories. You students are out there and you're killing it. It's very neat to be a part of. I'd like to thank our students that were willing to get in front of the mic, Kelly and Christina. But also to just congratulate all students. You know, it's really, really cool to be at a point in life where I can support people chasing their dreams. And whether that dream is something as simple as being the first in your family to get a degree, or if it's something, you know, where you've got a very specific, you know, thing that you've been chasing for in your life, and this is your pathway to it. So excited to hear all of those stories. And donors, I would just like to say, you know, it's not often we can, you know, we can say that we're helping a student reach for the stars, literally. here we are. I can't believe Michael didn't steal his material from me, but we have a student, looking to be at NASA, and that's, it's a pretty neat thing. So thank you, donors, for sticking with it and believing in these students. And thank you, students, for giving us something to believe in. I know someone's following me here. Don't make me start telling dad jokes.